England have done it. Chelsea plot Haaland move. Ancelotti wants Richarlison reunion. PSG announced Ramos and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and England have done it. This is going to be incredibly difficult for me to not be so biased, but I'm overjoyed, of course I am, like you would all be, when your team reaches a major tournament final. Italian fans, I'm sure, are delighted, and so are England fans as well. They edged past Denmark last night. Well, they edged past them on the scoreline. 2-1, extra time. Harry Kane missed the penalty and put in the rebound, and let's be honest, it was a very, very soft penalty to begin with. But when you look at the overall game, the stats, England definitely deserved it. They were brilliant in control of the ball in possession. They gave Kasper Schmeichel a lot to think about, and had the Danish keeper not been in such fine form, the margin of victory could have been even bigger. Of course, Damsgaard free kick opened the scoring, and that was an absolute banger. No other words for it. Absolute banger. What a free kick, and he has been a really special player at this tournament. But like I said, England got back into the game, and their game management was something we haven't necessarily seen from the three lions in so many years. The way they kept the ball at the end of the game as well, with the clock ticking down into the 120th minute, was just really, really epitomising how well their game management has been for the whole competition. They, of course, head into Sunday's final against Italy, though, as underdogs. I think when you look at all of the games in this tournament for England, they've been the favourite in every match, maybe apart from the Germany game. In fact, definitely apart from the Germany game, given their history against the Germans. But now they're going to have to switch it up a bit, play the underdog role, and potentially combat Italy's fantastic mix of being defensively solid and then lightning quick on the counter-attack, and they will pose a hell of a lot of problems for England. Having said that, though, they've been very good defensively at this tournament. Damsgaard free kick was the first goal that Jordan Pickford has conceded. He's nailed on to win the Golden Glove because of how many clean sheets he's got already, and he set an England record of going 725 minutes without conceding a goal, breaking the record from 1966. On top of this, Harry Kane became the highest goal scorer for England in major competitions with his 10th goal, and it just looks like he is going to be one of the main keys for England to unlocking this Italy defence. If Kane's on form, if Sterling's doing what he did last night, which is putting in a brilliant performance, maybe there's a chance, but you've got to say the Italians are the favourites because they've been the best team at this tournament, and they look like they know how to win. Of course, if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest Euro 2020 content, you can check out the OneFootball app and the Volkswagen OneHub as well. Both of those links you can find down in the description. Anyway, enough of that excitement, and guys, prepare for an emotional daily on Monday. I'll either be absolutely delighted or crying, but I will be here, come rain or shine, in front of the camera, bringing you the daily news. But moving on, and there's a big transfer that could be on the way, and Chelsea are looking to make the most of this summer's transfer market to bring in Erling Haaland. The reason being that his release clause at Dortmund is around £75 million, and it only comes in next summer. So by then, he'll be a year older, presumably a year better. He'll be an insane striker. Teams might have a little bit more money after coming out the other side of the COVID-19 pandemic. There will still be a huge demand for the incredible striker, and there will be a lot of teams who want his signature. So Chelsea are going to make the move early, and I say up the price from 75 million to 135 million euros. That is the amount of money that's being quoted today in various reports on the internet. And that is going to be a hell of a lot of money, but maybe they could tempt him. It looks like he is willing to join a Premier League side, and Chelsea, much like in the last few seasons, are willing to put their money where their mouth is and bring in Haaland on a ridiculous transfer fee. The thing is, I said 135 million is massive. Of course, it's a massive amount of money, but there's a difference between paying that this summer and paying the 75 million release clause next summer. A release clause has to be paid in full. The 135 million does not. They can negotiate with Dortmund to pay some upfront now, some clauses, some add-ons, something that will happen in the future, maybe a percentage of the fee when they sell them on in the future. There can be so many discussions to be had with Dortmund that maybe they'll be willing to listen. They've also agreed to sell Jadon Sancho to Manchester United this summer, so they could bring in a lot of money, but of course they are also losing two massive players. As for Chelsea, well, like I mentioned before, they spent big on the likes of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, but with Olivier Giroud looking like he'll leave the club and Tammy Abraham definitely out of favour, it still looks like they're looking for an out-and-out top-quality world-class striker, and Erling Haaland is just that. Next up though, Anthony Richarlison, who apparently could be heading to Real Madrid because a Carlo Ancelotti reunion is on the cards. The former Everton manager, now back at Real Madrid, wants to bring the Brazilian into the club, and honestly, if it wasn't for Ancelotti, I don't think Real Madrid would be going for Richarlison. No disrespect to him, I think he's a great player with a lot of potential to get even better. He just doesn't quite fit in with the Galactico level signing of Real Madrid. But having said that, like I mentioned before with Haaland and maybe some teams not being able to afford that many transfers this summer, maybe it seems a little bit more reasonable to think that Real Madrid could actually bring him in. They've lost Sergio Ramos on a free, but they could raise some money by selling the likes of Rafa Varane and quite a few others as well. Isco is also on the periphery at the Bernabeu. So if they manage to get a bit of money in, and then they go for Richarlison, who's going to cost maybe 50 to 60 million, this could actually work in their favour. Having said that, I'm still not sure he's a Real Madrid player. Like, he's been good, but just not consistent enough for Everton. He hasn't, over the last few seasons at Everton, played his way into a Real Madrid transfer. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's good. I'm just not quite sure he's at that level. What it does mean for Everton, though, is that they yet again will be in talks with Real Madrid after bringing in James Rodriguez to the club last summer. Although we're not too sure how long he's going to stick around, because pretty much he did move for Carlo Ancelotti. Next up then, and to Sergio Ramos, who looks like he will be joining PSG. I say that because they inadvertently released a post on their website announcing that they had signed the player, announcing they'd given him the number 4 shirt, and there was a few quotes from Ramos saying how the number 4 is so important to him, he's so proud to wear it for PSG, and this, that and the other. They then quickly deleted the post because it's become clear the club haven't officially announced the signing, but like has been talked about in the last few weeks, Sergio Ramos is on a free transfer now after leaving Real Madrid. They just have to discuss wage and length of contract, this, that and the other, and it looks as though everything is done. They just need to dot the I's and cross some T's, and Sergio Ramos will officially be a PSG player. Now, where's he actually going to fit in though in the PSG defence? My gut feeling is that he will be playing alongside President Kimpembe, and maybe Marquinhos will be moving into that central defensive midfield position. We've seen him play there before. When it comes to the PSG midfield, they've often been light there, and although Idrissa Gana Gueye has actually been a very good player for PSG, when I've seen him in the Champions League, he's put in a decent shift. I'm just not so sure whether he'd be in the ideal perfect starting 11 for PSG. Marco Verratti's in there, of course, and I think with Marquinhos alongside him, they can manage to fit in Marquinhos, they can manage to fit in Kimpembe, and they can manage to fit in Sergio Ramos. And above all of this, that is the way that Mauricio Pochettino certainly built his Spurs team as well, with a defensive midfielder who's able to drop back into the centre-back role, allow the wing-backs to fly forward, and effectively, once Marquinhos moves back, you've got a back 3. With all that tactical talk done though, we'll finish finally with a quick run-up of the rest of the day's transfer news that you might have missed. And AC Milan are willing to up their weekly offer to midfielder Franck Kessié with the hope of him signing a new deal with the club. Liverpool are preparing a bid for Donyell Marlin. Arsenal have said that Hector Bellerin can join Inter Milan on loan. And Barcelona are putting a little bit of pressure on Samuel Umtiti to accept a loan deal to an unnamed club in Europe because they need to get him off the wage bill. That's all from me then today. Make sure you smash that like button down below and subscribe, and thank you so much as always for all of your support during the Euros. Whilst you're at it, you can also click here and here to check out everything else we've got going on, but until next time, I'll see you guys later.